Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered, why? Why are we all here? What's out there? And how does it all work? Well, you're certainly not alone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Big Why. I'm just as curious as you are about the universe and everything in it. From the depths of the ocean to the furthest reaches of space, no question is too big, no topic too strange for us. We'll crack open the mysteries of black holes, journey to the edge of the universe, and explore the mind-blowing discoveries that are changing our world. So if you're ready to unleash your inner scientist, ask the tough questions, and explore the universe alongside me, then buckle up, and let's ask why. Today, we'll uncover lost works and ponder the impact their absence has on our understanding of history. And who knows, maybe one day I'll tell the world how you helped rediscover these lost treasures. Let's start off with the captivating world of the ancient Library of Alexandria, a legendary institution that housed the greatest collection of knowledge in its time. The exact founding of the library is a bit hazy. While some sources credit Ptolemy I Soter in the late 4th century BC, others suggest it might have been his son Ptolemy II Philadelphus, who truly established it as part of a larger research institute known as the Mosaic, meaning seat of the Muses. Regardless of its precise origins, the library quickly blossomed into a beacon of intellectual pursuit. Imagine a vast complex filled with scrolls, the primary form of written media back then, containing works on philosophy, history, literature, mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. Estimates suggest the library held anywhere between 40,000 and 400,000 scrolls, an astonishing number for the ancient world. The library wasn't just a passive repository. It was a vibrant hub for scholars. Renowned thinkers from across the Greco-Roman world flocked to Alexandria to study, translate texts, and debate ideas. Callimachus, the chief librarian, even compiled the Painicus, one of the earliest known library catalogs, making this vast collection more accessible. But the story of the Library of Alexandria isn't all sunshine and scrolls. Its decline and destruction remains shrouded in mystery. While some traditional narratives point to a single catastrophic fire, most scholars today believe the library's demise was a gradual process. Some of the contributing factors were funding fluctuations, so the library's success heavily relied on royal patronage. So when support from the Ptolemaic dynasty waned, funding for acquisitions, maintenance, and scholar salaries dwindled. Alexandria wasn't immune to political unrest. Riots, civil wars, and foreign invasions all likely damaged the library and its collections over time. As Alexandria's political and economic landscape changed, the focus may have shifted away from pure scholarship and towards more practical pursuits. And the question of the library's destruction is a hot topic. The most famous story involves Julius Caesar's siege of Alexandria in 48 BC. Some accounts claim a fire during the conflict spread to the library, destroying a significant portion. However, other evidence suggests the library remained largely intact after this event. Modern scholars posit that the library's decline may have been more due to neglect and mismanagement. Scholars dispersed, scrolls deteriorated, and the library itself may have fallen into disrepair. Recent research suggests there might have been two major libraries in Alexandria, the one within the Mosaic and another associated with the Temple of Serapis. The fates of these libraries may have been intertwined within the Serapeum complex, suffering fires in the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD. While the exact details of its demise remain debated, the Library of Alexandria's legacy is undeniable. It served as a model for future libraries, emphasizing the importance of knowledge, preservation, and scholarship. The concept of a universal collection encompassing all branches of knowledge is a direct descendant of the library's vision. The library's story also reminds us of the fragility of knowledge. War, neglect, and changing priorities can all lead to the loss of invaluable information. In today's digital age, the question of digital preservation and ensuring access to knowledge for future generations becomes even more relevant. Now let's leave the legendary Library of Alexandria and venture to another powerhouse of the ancient world, the Library of Pergamon. Located in what is now modern-day Turkey, Pergamon was a powerful kingdom known for its impressive cultural achievements. The library, established around 197 BC by King Eumenes II, quickly became a major rival to Alexandria. Eumenes was a keen scholar himself and actively sought to expand the library's collection. Unlike Alexandria's reliance on papyrus, Pergamon championed a new writing material, parchment. Legend has it that King Eumenes ordered a competition to find an alternative to papyrus after Egypt restricted its export, fearing Pergamon's growing library. The winner reportedly was Crates of Malos, the head librarian, who developed a method of processing animal skins into a more durable writing surface. The library wasn't just about collecting scrolls. Pergamon's librarians were known for their meticulous organization and scholarship. They categorized works, created detailed catalogs, and even produced their own commentaries on existing texts. Just like Alexandria, Pergamon attracted prominent scholars from across the Mediterranean. The library fostered a vibrant intellectual community where philosophers, historians, and scientists could exchange ideas and collaborate on research. While the Library of Pergamon thrived for centuries, its ultimate fate remains unclear. The city itself declined in the Roman era, and the library likely suffered alongside it. A major earthquake in 262 AD likely caused significant damage to the library and its collections. Despite the earthquake, there's evidence the library remained in use for some time during the Byzantine era, around 330 to 1453 AD. The final chapter of the library's story is a mystery. Scholars believe the collection may have been gradually dispersed or destroyed, with no single catastrophic event marking its end. Though the physical library is lost, its legacy lives on. The impressive ruins of Pergamon, including the library itself, are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Additionally, some artifacts from the library, including statues and architectural elements, are housed in museums around the world. The story of the Library of Pergamon reminds us of the fierce competition for knowledge in the ancient world. It also highlights the ingenuity of scholars like Crates who developed new technologies to preserve and share information. Now let's take a turn towards a more personal loss of knowledge: the missing notebooks of Sylvia Plath, the iconic and often enigmatic poet. Sylvia Plath, known for her vivid imagery and exploration of dark themes, left behind a remarkable literary legacy, but a significant portion of her creative process remains hidden: the notebooks she meticulously kept throughout her life. Plath began keeping a diary as a young child, and by the time she reached Smith College, it had become a cornerstone of her life. These journals served as a sounding board for her emotions, a testing ground for ideas, and a record of her experiences. They were her sargasso, a rich sea of inspiration from which she drew much more of her poetic power. After Plath's tragic death in 1963, her husband, Ted Hughes, published a collection of her journals titled The Journals of Sylvia Plath. However, this edition was heavily edited and censored. Estimates suggest that as much as 60% of the original content was omitted. The missing portions of Plath's journals are a source of endless speculation. Here's what scholars believe they might contain. The censored sections likely included Plath's most raw and unfiltered emotions. They might delve deeper into her struggles with mental health, her complex relationship with Hughes, and the creative process itself. The notebooks might hold early drafts of poems, showcasing Plath's evolution as a writer and offering insight into her creative choices. There's a possibility that some entirely new poems or prose pieces were written in the missing sections, waiting to be discovered. The publication of the heavily redacted journals sparked controversy. Scholars and literary critics argued that the censored version presented a sanitized image of Plath, neglecting the complexities of her life and work. Thankfully, in 2000, an unabridged edition of Plath's journals, titled The Journals of Sylvia Plath, was published. This edition offers a more complete picture of the poet's inner world, but some portions remain missing because of deterioration or loss. The fate of the truly lost notebooks is unknown. Were they destroyed by Hughes, or are they still hidden away somewhere? This unanswered question continues to fuel the intrigue surrounding Plath and her work. Despite the missing pieces, Sylvia Plath's notebooks remain a testament to her creative genius and the power of introspection. They offer a glimpse into the mind of a remarkable artist, forever challenging and inspiring readers and writers alike. Speaking of personal knowledge, next we're going to dive into Anne Frank's diary. Anne's diary ends abruptly, not as a conscious literary choice, but with the brutal reality of her family's arrest. Yet, those final published words aren't the end of Anne's writing. We know she kept earlier diaries and notebooks, some of which were never recovered. Otto Frank, the sole survivor, chose not to publish these most personal writings. Let's delve into the why and consider the darker truths they might have contained. It's likely Anne's early writings were more unfiltered, the ramblings of a young adolescent discovering herself. They might hold those awkward thoughts and feelings every teenager experiences, crushes, insecurities, frustrations with family, the everyday stuff of growing up. These passages could have made Anne feel more relatable, more like an ordinary girl trapped in an extraordinary circumstance. Anne's published diary hints at conflicts within the secret annex, but we get a sanitized version. Her earlier writings might have contained sharper criticism of the adults she was confined with, her parents included. This wouldn't tarnish her legacy, but paint a more realistic picture of the strain of long-term confinement and the complicated dynamics between people forced to share an impossibly small space. Remember, Anne revised parts of her diary with the intention to publish after the war. Her missing notes may contain even more reflections on her identity as a writer, her hopes for the future, and perhaps darker thoughts about mortality. Natural for a young woman facing such grim realities. Anne's published diary shows remarkable maturity for her age, but teenagers carry darkness too. Anger, despair, fleeting but dangerous thoughts. The war, the constant fear, and the claustrophobia of the annex could have amplified these feelings. Perhaps in her missing writings, this darkness found a raw, uncensored outlet. Even the most devout people experience moments of doubt in the face of immense suffering. Anne, a bright and inquisitive girl, might have written passages questioning her faith, the existence of good, or the very nature of humanity while witnessing such evil. These would be normal reflections for anyone under her circumstances, yet possibly deeply controversial in the post-war period when her story became a symbol of hope. Here's the most troubling thought. Holocaust deniers twist anything to support their grotesque views. Could passages from Anne's earlier writing, taken out of context, be manipulated to question the horror she endured? A phrase expressing despair, a criticism of a fellow annex resident, a flash of teenage cynicism? These are things most of us write at some point, yet could be weaponized against her legacy. It's easy to second-guess Otto's choices today, but remember, he was a grieving father who lost his entire family in the most horrific way. He wanted to present Anne in a way he felt honored her spirit and sacrifice. Plus, others mentioned in the diary were still alive. He might have wanted to shield them from potentially unflattering portrayals. The tragedy is, we'll never fully know this version of Anne Frank, the messy, unfiltered, completely human one. Her missing writings likely wouldn't diminish the power of her published diary, but add nuance, complexity, and maybe even a touch of ordinary teenage angst that would further enhance our understanding of her as both a historical figure and a relatable young girl. Now let's dive back into libraries. Imagine a place where the pursuit of knowledge reigns supreme. A vast library filled with scrolls, codices, and the collective wisdom of civilizations. This wasn't Alexandria or ancient Greece. This was Baghdad, jewel of the Islamic Golden Age and home to the legendary House of Wisdom, or the Grand Library of Baghdad. It was founded around the 8th century. Greek and Roman works on philosophy, mathematics, and astronomy were meticulously translated into Arabic, preserving ancient knowledge. Alongside this, the library championed advancements in medicine, engineering, and Arabic literature. Scholars from across the Islamic world flocked to Baghdad, their collaboration fueling an era of immense intellectual progress. Then, in 1258, Baghdad was sacked by the Mongols. The city fell, and with it, the fate of the House of Wisdom hangs in the balance. While popular narratives depict the Mongols burning the library in a fiery climax, the truth is more nuanced. Some believe the destruction was swift and absolute, others suggest a more gradual decline, scrolls scattered or lost in the turmoil. There's even a theory that the library had begun to fade in importance long before the invasion due to shifting priorities and dwindling support. Regardless of the specifics, the loss is undeniable. Imagine scientific breakthroughs stalled or never even conceived without access to those texts. The philosophical debates cut short, the literature reduced to mere fragments. Yet the story doesn't end in ashes. Scholars today continue to recover and translate fragments of works thought lost, found scattered across libraries and private collections. These remnants offer a tantalizing glimpse into the vast knowledge once housed in Baghdad and fuel the ongoing quest to piece together this lost chapter of intellectual history. Now let's dive into the mystery of the Alexandrian Euripides and the tragic losses missing plays represent for theater history. Euripides, a contemporary of Sophocles and Aeschylus, stands among the giants of ancient Greek tragedy. He was a theatrical innovator, pushing boundaries with his psychologically complex characters and unflinching explorations of human suffering. Yet, his brilliance shines only partially today. Of the over 90 plays Euripides wrote, a mere 19 survive in full. The vast remainder of his work, referred to as the Alexandrian Euripides, is lost, leaving scholars to ponder the missing pieces of his enduring legacy. Understanding the loss of Euripides' plays requires understanding the man himself. He wasn't universally beloved in his time. Unlike the reverence granted to Sophocles, Euripides was a controversial figure for these reasons. He depicted gods not as divine, but flawed and petty, mirroring human weaknesses. His characters were not simply heroes, but wrestled with doubt and moral ambiguities. He gave powerful stage presence to women, slaves, and those often dismissed in Athenian society. This upending of tradition made him both praised and criticized. Euripides didn't shy away from critiquing Athenian wars, even hinting at a questioning of the very gods themselves. Such boldness could lead to accusations of impiety. Most of Euripides' works were likely lost over centuries, victims of the fragility of scrolls and changing literary tastes. However, a selection called the Alexandrian Euripides did exist for some time, likely curated and preserved at the legendary Library of Alexandria. That even this collection didn't survive in full highlights the delicate nature of textual preservation before the invention of widespread printing. With over 90 plays, his remaining work could be seen as snapshots in a long career. Lost plays may reveal shifts in his style, experimentation, or how his thoughts matured over time. Some lost works garnered high praise in their time. Could his most groundbreaking plays be forever gone, leaving us with only echoes of their brilliance? Euripides often retold classic Greek myths with twists. We'll never know how he might have radically reinterpreted familiar tales in his lost works. While deeply tragic, the story isn't all bleak. Fragments of lost plays exist in quotations in later sources. Scholars meticulously analyze these, glimpsing the potential themes and innovations of the Alexandrian Euripides. And crucially, Euripides' surviving works did profoundly shape later theater, from the Romans to Shakespeare and beyond. His exploration of human complexities resonates even in those plays available to us today. Next, we're going to dive into the Mayan Codices, highlighting their tragic destruction and the ongoing effort to understand the few that remain. Imagine a civilization with rich written tradition, meticulously recording centuries of history, religion, scientific observations, and artistic expression. Now imagine all but a handful of these records being deliberately burned. This is the tragic story of the Mayan Codices and the knowledge lost to a misguided quest for religious domination. The ancient Maya were far more than pyramid builders. They developed a complex hieroglyphic system, one of the most sophisticated in the pre-Columbian Americas. With it, highly skilled scribes diligently recorded their world of codices. These codices weren't just storybooks. Their contents ranged from sacred rituals, astronomical charts tracking the movements of planets, intricate calendrical systems, dynastic histories, and even prophecies for the future. Each codex represented a priceless piece of cultural heritage. In the 16th century, Spanish conquistadors arrived in Central America, often accompanied by zealous priests. Their mission of conversion meant a campaign against Mayan religious beliefs deemed heretical. Mayan codices filled with quote-unquote pagan symbols and knowledge became targets for destruction. Bishop Diego de Landa, infamous for his ruthlessness, boasted of burning countless Mayan texts. Imagine not just the physical destruction of books, but the erasure of accumulated wisdom. Mayan priests, intellectuals, and scribes were targeted, those who held the key to decipherment. Generations of knowledge, painstakingly collected and preserved, vanished in the flames. It's a chilling reminder of the devastating impact cultural imperialism and intolerance can wreak. Miraculously, a scant few codices survived, hidden away or perhaps deemed harmless enough by the Spanish. They offer only a tantalizing glimpse. For one, the Dresden Codex, renowned for its astronomical tables, detailed almanacs, and stunning artwork, as well as the Madrid Codex, focusing primarily on rituals, ceremonies, and divinatory practices, and the Paris Codex, where rituals and prophecies dominate its content. Despite their decimation, the Mayan codices are far from silent. Scholars today meticulously study their survivors, piecing together the language, unlocking their secrets bit by bit. Understanding the intricate Mayan writing system has been a multidisciplinary, decades-long effort. Codices offer unique insights into Mayan cosmology, deities, and the vital role ritual played in their worldview. Precision in tracking celestial bodies like Venus reveals Maya astronomical sophistication. Next, we're going to go over the Sibylline Books. Imagine a time when the fate of an empire hung not on military might, but on the cryptic utterances of ancient prophetesses. Within Rome's storied history lies the tale of the Sibylline Books, a collection of prophecies shrouded in secrecy and said to guide the decisions of Roman emperors during pivotal moments. Legend tells us that the last king of Rome, Tarnicus Superbus, was approached by an aged woman, a prophetess known as Sibyl. She offered him 9 scrolls containing prophecies about Rome's future, but at an extortionate price. Tarquin scoffed. The Sibyl calmly burned 3 scrolls, then offered the remaining 6 at the same original price. Disturbed and perhaps fearing divine wrath, Tarquin finally purchased the remaining prophecies. Unlike other Roman forms of divination, the Sibylline Books weren't consulted lightly. They were housed in a vault beneath the temple of Jupiter and guarded by a special priesthood. Their pages were revealed only in times of extreme crisis, plagues, natural disasters, or dire military threats. Interpretation was difficult, requiring expert priests to decipher the cryptic verses and guide Rome on the proper course of action. While their exact content remains lost to us, references through Roman history point to their powerful influence. The Sibylline Books could dictate the introduction of new gods, specific sacrifices to appease angry deities, or the construction of temples to avert disaster. Ambitious senators or emperors might manipulate interpretations to support their desired policies. This very secrecy surrounding the books made them ripe for exploitation. Tragically, a fire in 83 BC ravaged Rome and the original Sibylline Books were lost. Desperate to restore this vital source of guidance, Roman officials collected fragments and supposed prophecies from around the Mediterranean. While these restored oracles were never held in quite the same esteem, a form of the Sibylline Books survived until they were ultimately destroyed in a Christian Roman general in 5th century AD. Why are we still captivated by these lost prophecies? Perhaps because they represent several enduring themes. The Romans, for all their practicality, craved divine approval. The Sibylline Books offered a tangible, if cryptic, connection to the will of the gods. The select few who interpreted the books wielded immense power. Who controls the word of the gods controls the narrative, and thus Rome's destiny. The destroyed books symbolize the constant threat to knowledge, and how what survives often shapes our understanding of history. Lost texts are more than historical curiosity. They remind us that there's so much we still don't know. Will the Library of Alexandria's secrets ever fully emerge from the sands? Could a missing play by Euripides change how we view his artistry? These questions linger, fueling the historian's passion and igniting our own imaginations. Perhaps the greatest allure of lost texts lies in the tantalizing possibility of what yet might be found. Knowledge is fragile, its survival often a matter of chance, power, or deliberate preservation. If these stories sparked your curiosity, do your own research. Look into ongoing efforts to decipher lost languages or recover fragments of vanished works. Let us be the guardians of knowledge, today and into the future. Thank you everyone for watching. My name's The Big Y. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more videos about lost ancient texts, and don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new to the Why Not family, a follow, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.